Hey, welcome everybody. Welcome to this month's EVerest Technical Steering Committee call. It is a bit of a shorter period between the previous call, so also there's a little bit less to talk about compared to the previous one. We've moved this TSC call due to Christmas, so a little bit less to discuss. Highlights this month: CharIN Testival. Still the demo, the simulated demo, end-to-end management of charging station, all the testing. So that will be discussed a bit by Shankari. And also we have started the integration of EEBus. And what I think is also very interesting is that the interest from the MCS community for EVerest is growing. So we're starting now a new working group for MCS, purely focusing on that and to get that into EVerest. As always, we start with the antitrust policy notice. Leave that here for everybody to read and let that sink in, and please comply with it during these, but so any other Linux Foundation energy call. What's new in EVerest? No new EVerest-based chargers. We do see some new chargers pop up, and we're asking if we can present these as well on the list. But at the moment, there's no new ones that we are allowed to share, unless somebody on the call has something that they are allowed to say at the moment. On the development kits, there is some news. Vitec launched the EVCS Cube Basic, which is now available, which is more like an industry housing, which contains the EVerest board, plus all the electronics to make this an AC charger development kit. This one has a socket, so it's a little bit different from the Pionix belay box. So if you have something with a socket, it's a really nice solution to do a dev kit for a EVerest. They are working on a proof of concept DC version of that as well. That is expected in Q1, which will have a power module as well to do, a like proof of concept of a DC charger, and you could use that to build a full DC charger. Then events, as I said, it was just 3 weeks, so there was officially not really an event that we've been to. But yeah, there was still some stuff that we wanted to discuss of the CharIN Testival, as that was really short before the previous TSC. We hadn't even had the chance to cover everything in the previous TSC. So Shankari, you had something you wanted to share here a bit and chat about.
Yeah, so we did not have a chance to present this last time because we just come back and then there was Thanksgiving. But the joint office's focus at CharIN was on AC managed charging. L2, with the long plug-in time, has a lot more flexibility around departure time. And so we wanted to see what that would look like. And if we actually tried to test it on some cars, what would happen? Most of the other testing at at CharIN was really focused on DC charging, right? The quick DCFC. So we expanded the current EV simulator and made some minor changes to the ISO 15118 side on EVerest to send departure time, accept departure time, and basically address the departure time when we're sending back the responses. We will be submitting patch. This is all currently a set of patches that's getting it to work, but we will submit it to the upstream shortly. We also integrated with MIDAS, which is the California ISO system that has tariffs and curtailment. And so what we were able to do was to pull a schedule from the California operator. because the Testival was in California, and then send the PMAX from Midas to MEVE to EVerest, and then through ISO to the EV. So that was a really cool sort of end-to-end thing that we were able to do. And then we configured the micro megawatt charger to do AC, and then basically replicated this demo, sent the PMAX through to the micro megawatt charger, and then tried to plug it into a few cars. I can't discuss the individual session results, but it was actually pretty good. We had a couple of successful sessions. AC did work. The PMAX was, passed through correctly and was accepted by the cars, and we weren't able to actually see that was the power that was delivered, obviously, because of the micro megawatt charger. A support for departure time was a little bit less robust, but that is an area that I think we need to do some stakeholder engagement on. So yeah, I mean, it was exciting to finally be able to plug the car in and actually try out all of these more advanced features that we think are really important from a government/society perspective, and see how they were ready to work or not work in the field.
So cool. But the AC testing, was that with 15.11.8 AC, or was that just pure PWM?
No, it was ISO 15.11.8 AC. So we configured the micro megawatt charger to say AC. We actually ran into an issue, for the record, where it was hard coded to AC 3-phase. So EVerest actually will only send AC 3-phase in the negotiation, the handshake negotiation. But fortunately, the cars were able to change what they accept to 3-phase, and so we're able to sort of go ahead. But that is something that we will also, submit a patch for once we have some time to sit down and create all of the pull requests.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, that might be just where we in Europe have almost everything on 3 phases. That this is a bit more common for us to have everything 3 phases, where you guys are testing single phase AC.
Yeah.
Might be a data bug, or at least something that should be configurable in EVerest. Yeah.
Yeah, we also found that there was one car that also hard coded, but in the other way. So if the car had a plug, basically what it accepted was a particular type of adapter, then it would hard code to one single phase or 3-phase because of that, and it wasn't configurable. So with that car, the session did not work because it's hard coded on this side and hard coded on the other side. But yeah, and I think you knew it. Like, there's actually the comment there says, to do, we need to fix it. And so yeah, we're happy to do that, because it's a community and we're all working together to make things better.
And that is greatly appreciated, Shankari. We've run into similar scenarios with testing vehicles where we would indeed offer AC, and the car would just say, "Oh, fine, we select first profile," and they probably hard coded first profile because the first thing that the car then started doing was, "Okay, let's do cable check." Yeah, but that's a DC thing. So not sure what you guys are doing, but that is not correct.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, we all learn, and we give them feedback, and then learn from that. Thanks. Super interesting. You guys got that up and running. Nice. Thanks for the update. Then we get to community. So first, the LF Energy EV Charging SIG. So this is a bit the broader community within LF Energy, focusing on EV charging. Last month we had the review of Citrino OS. Now, yesterday, the Argonne National Lab presented their Opti VGI project. This is an energy management project for EV charging. The goal is to make this open source available somewhere Q1, Q2. So I'm expecting March, April, that this will also become an LF Energy project. And this is really energy management based on solar inputs, driver profiles, and just scheduling who gets how much energy. And then this needs to link to something like CharIN or MEEF. So they first will make the library open source, and they told us then they will try to work on the wrappers to get this integrated into CharIN and MEEF. So really interesting new project that is coming to the EV space. And then the next thing that's happening next year, so January, it's the yearly review of EVerest. So the EVerest project has a yearly review within Linux Foundation Energy. This is the first time this happens in the special interest group and no longer in the higher level track of LF Energy itself. That means we will be preparing a bit for the review in the first weeks of the year. And part of that is also road mapping. We will come back to that later on. We want to do an updated roadmap. But everybody already, I will also send an email to the EVerest mailing list. If you are able to join, please join the review. It's like a proud moment always for a project. Looking back 1 year, what we've done, and then looking a little bit ahead of what we're expecting to do next year. It's always really nice to do that, and we can answer questions from anybody in the community that's interested. So I will, please feel free to join. Then one of the new working groups, grid integration and energy management. We moved we are going to move from a bi-weekly schedule to a weekly cadence. We had bi-weekly calls. It wasn't that busy, but now it gets more busy. We did an internal workshop within Pionics to figure out what we see, what needs to be done, all the work that we as Pionics want to pick up and put in EVerest. All of the results of that workshop will be published on Wiki soon. They're not there yet, but we will do that. Based on this, we also figured out, there's a lot that we need to discuss also between the Pionics people, but also in the industry. So we figure out, we need way more talks than just once every 2 weeks. So we're going to move to a weekly cadence that is going to move to Monday as well. So we can get this aligned, because there's a lot of work that needs to be done both on OSP 2.1, which now provides bidirectional charging, together with Dash 20, which provide bidirectional charging. And then we are integrating EEBus. So all of this needs a lot of alignment. So we really gonna do this weekly on a Monday. Make sure you update your calendars, as we already noticed with this call as well. It looks like if you are using Google, then the Linux events automatically get updated if we move them in the calendar. I have a feeling that people that are using Outlook might need to check them themselves. If they get an email like, hey, we moved a meeting, that they need to do that manually somehow, because they don't get all the updates automatically synced. I will also ask that to Linux Foundation to ask if they have experience with this. Then the next one is the cloud communication group. We have started with OSP 2.1. The foundation to be able to add 2.1 use case is almost done. We will also start getting it up and running. The first tests, we might do a little bit more hacking now, as we've registered ourselves for the next coming Testival of the Open Charge lines. So the end of January, Pete and myself, we will be in California to do OSP 2.1 testing. And also, if there's not enough OSP 2.1 implementation, we'll also do some OSP 2.0.1 implementations. We will also do online testing, by the way, but we will also be on site with 2.1. Our initial focus of 2.1 will be the bidirectional part. Block Q bidirectional charging is the most important thing that comes with 2.1. But the first thing we need to do is just get core up and running, which is not that much work. We've wrapped up the development of OSP 2.0.1. Functional block reservation is now fully implemented, so I don't think there's anything left to do in OSP 2.0.1. We've moved the documentation of lib OSP. We are adding more and more integration tests. We had some integration tests that weren't open source. They've now moved to EVerest Core for more testing within EVerest. And we are also integrating with the our software in the loop with the OCT test tool. So for people that don't know, the Open Charge Alliance provide a test tool, OCT, that enables you to run all the certification tests that come with OCP. That tool now supports OCP 2.0.1 and 1.6 and will also get to 1 support. And they've released a beta release that allows you to automate this to be able to do automated tests, so it's no longer manual. And we're actively working on getting that up and running. It looks like we're almost done. We're really debugging the last issues before this is final, which will save us a lot of time on testing with the test tool in the near future. Anybody questions on the cloud communication working group? No. Then car communication. I would almost ask Kai, do you know, but you're also more part of the cloud stuff. Let's see what these guys have done. Many PRs finished. They have worked on pause and resume. This is a feature typically asked for by trucks to be able to pause and resume charging sessions. They've reworked some OpenSSL stuff. There are some bugs in the XCGen for the XC codec fixed. And there's some issues around CB XCGen, so the XCGen generator are being discussed. So work is progressing. A lot still needs to be done to get bidirectional working, but we are progressing with -20. We are also starting to look into the newer addendum. So the addendum to -20 for AC bidirectional and MCS are now out in draft, so we can start reviewing them at least. And also within the car communication working group, we had quite some attention for MCS. And that's where but I think that's later on the slide, we are starting a new working group for that. EVerest Framework and Tools. Kai, have you been involved here?
Yeah. I'll make it quick. Basically, we added some more functionality for things like if you do external MQTT communication, you can also do wildcard subscriptions now. A bigger part is this config delivery via MQTT, which basically means that when EVerest starts up the modules, requests their config directly from the manager, which greatly improves the startup speed, which is, I mean, I would say on the chart is not that important, but for testing, it's quite important because now that we have these integration tests that start up a whole EVerest and do that a few hundred times, this already reduced the runtime, I think, of these tests from like 20 minutes in the CI to like 12 or 13. And there's some additional work being worked on right now that will make this even faster. And then, some other smaller things and things that are still in progress that we'll probably talk about next month when the next release is happening.
Thanks. Oh, this is also still framework.
Oh yeah, an update that we do a combined working group now with framework and tools and CI, CD and testing, which were two separate working groups in the past, and now we'll be combining them just so there's a bit more to talk about, and I think it's already starting quite early in the new year. So.
And I also see we're going to do alternating time slots.
Yeah, we'll try.
See if that works.
Yeah. Exactly.
It's always good to give the opportunity at least. Yeah, and we've been struggling a bit with the name. I think the current idea indeed is tooling and processing. Somebody has a better name, please let us know. It's almost like everything around testing, CI/CD, framework, tools, anything that isn't, part of, state machines or protocol implementations. CI/CD and testing. You involved in that one as well, Kai?
Yeah, basically, something that's being worked on right now is that I think last month we included coverage reporting in some repositories, and the way this is implemented right now relies on some secrets that are stored in the the repository configuration. That if you then do a pull request from outside the org, from a fork, you don't have access to those secrets, and then coverage uploading will fail, because right now we also upload all the coverage reports to the GitHub IO page of EVerest. This is being worked on with some workaround, basically, to either allow this in some other way or just to skip it. And then we also saw that some unit tests in libOSVP seem to behave a bit strangely, where they just block for a very long time, and then the coverage reporting also fails on that. It happens not so often, but we're still basically debugging that. And yeah, the last point is integration tests for OCPP that are already included in EVerest core at the moment. So
also a nice statistic, maybe not this year for the yearly review, but for next year, seeing like the improvement of code coverage for tests is like a nice statistic to show during the review. Don't think, because this is like the first statistic, so there's nothing to compare, so it's kind of hard to show like the progress within the project.
Yeah, but at least you can say, okay, we went from, I don't know, a handful of integration tests that basically run all the configurations that we ship with EVerest core to over 300 that do OCPP testing. And
yeah, which is already impressive. Yeah, so the amount of unit tests and etc. and integration tests, that's interesting to mention. The code coverage itself is probably not so interesting to mention during the review yet. That brings us to the general and Q&A. Yeah, what we see a lot now is we see more and more university and researchers join the general call. So almost every call that we have, there's somebody new working either at a university or in a research institute that joins EVerest. So really, we get the feeling that the research community is finding EVerest and is interested in to see what's happening. So we're really trying actively to get them involved and contributing if they do some new work. So yeah, really like that is happening. The APAC friendly hours is not so busy. I think last week we even had nobody. So the plan is now to do a little bit more reminders on LinkedIn and the mailing list that we do have this call in APAC friendly hours. So we'll hope to attract a little bit more people from Asia and Australia to join the calls. And otherwise, if nobody keeps showing up, we might stop doing that for a while and see if we get requests again to do that in a more friendly hour. Then the new car communication MCS working group, as I mentioned already briefly, there was quite a lot of MCS discussions in the car communication working group. It really now feels like it's time to start a separate group, really focusing on MCS and also moving the time to a more US friendly time slot, because the biggest group of people that join these MCS calls are in the US. So we might move it to a little bit later than the current time slot for the car communication call. We still need to plan a first meeting and decide on the cadence. First feeling is we will do it bi-weekly. We just need to find a slot for the first call. That's on Tim's to-do list, so he will probably discuss that also via the mailing list of Zulip. Update from the vulnerability management team. Currently, there's nothing open. The previous vulnerability that was still open last month is now released, so we don't have any open issues. But if you find something, the EVerest security VMT is reachable by the email address for EVerest-security. So if you have something to forward, that's a secure mailing list. Only the people from the VMT have access to that. Monthly release, Kai, yes, the monthly not release.
Exactly, the monthly not release. I updated this release cycle slide, which basically shows that we did a source code or source stable release every month or every 3 months in 2024. However, in December, we now decided to basically postpone the stable release to basically this time in January, just to give us time in January to go through all the open pull requests and through the testing cycle, because that's a bit tough to do over the Christmas holidays for us. And so basically that this doesn't happen again, I'm basically proposing that we're just shifting the stable release cycle by 1 month. So in January, April, July, and October, which are typically months that don't have that much interference with big public holidays in Europe and the US. So yeah, that's basically the proposal for 2025. I think we'll talk about this again as a reminder in next year's first TSC in January. So
Yep.
Yeah, that also means there's not going to be any release notes and no funny Santa emoji or something, but at least I included a little Christmas tree in the December notes here.
And everybody agreeing with this to skip the December release? Otherwise, we would probably have like a really small release, which takes a lot of testing effort for almost no real feature functionality added. So it's way better to combine it. Was the idea.
And there's going to be a lot of nice things compared to the last one in September when we do it in January. So probably worth the wait.
I'm fine with, I don't know if you're looking for feedback, but yes, I think it's fine to postpone. It's better to have a solid, stable release than just rush to get something out during the holiday season.
No, that was the idea. Thanks. What's next? First of all, if you are using EVerest, if you are supporting open source, please think about becoming a member of LF Energy. LF Energy in the end pays for all the infrastructure where we're running the EVerest development on. They're hosting the conferences. They're supporting the entire community. They organize security audits, and all of this needs to be funded by membership fees. So if you are really using EVerest, please join Linux Foundation Energy if you're able to. Again, you're not required to do that to use EVerest, but it would be greatly appreciated if you would. That brings us to the roadmap. No real changes to the roadmap. As I mentioned earlier, we are now in Q4 of 2024, so we need to update the roadmap again. We will work on that in January, and we are, let's skip to that slide. We are planning a roadmap session because the EVerest review is on the 22nd of January. We want to present an updated roadmap. So I've proposed a EVerest roadmap session on the 21st of January at 4 o'clock European time and 10 o'clock Eastern or 7 o'clock Pacific. So I hope that also works for you, Shankari. We want to go over the cloud and the car side roadmaps, just to like align between the bigger contributors within the EVerest project. I mean, everybody's invited. For sure, we want to have the joint office there. We want to have Trello, ChargeBy there, all the bigger contributors to the project, all to align on, hey, do we all agree? What's your plans? So we can present a better roadmap during the EVerest review, but also have a new road 2025. We have like a guideline, so everybody that is following EVerest has an idea of what we're going to do in 2025. So hopefully everybody's able to join. I've sent an invite already, so it should probably be in your calendar. So looking forward to that meeting as well. Upcoming events. Big one, of course, is the CES in Las Vegas. A couple of people from Pionics will be there. We're on a shared booth in the German organization, I think. Part of that, we, Pionics, together with LF Energy, are organizing a open source plus climate breakfast, I think. Was breakfast or lunch? Please join. We've published this on LinkedIn already, but you can also use the URL here. Please join us if you are in Las Vegas during the CES. Looking forward to meeting as many people from the community as possible there. Then the next thing is the Plugfest, as I mentioned already earlier. Pete and myself will be going on site at DECRA in California. I know that Kai will probably be testing online. So if you are joining, looking forward to meeting a lot of the US community in California end of January. Then the next big thing is FOSDEM. Kai, you'll briefly talk about this because this is really where you are really active.
So the last 2 years, I've been like co-organizing the energy dev room at FOSDEM with other people from LF Energy, but also other related or unrelated projects. And this year it's going to be on a Sunday, the whole day again. Lots of interesting talks scheduled. I think the schedules for basically the whole event are already out by now, and it's a free event at the university in Brussels. So if you're in the area, feel free to come by and join us in the dev room.
It was the first time I was there last year. I was impressed by how huge it is.
And we even apparently get the same room as last year, so
I know
we'll have a benchmark to see how it is this year.
Yeah, there's 40, 50 different stages with different topics for 2 days, all talking about open source. It's a huge event. It's impressive. I will try to be there. I'm not sure because I'm flying back almost the same weekend from the US, but it's a super interesting event to go to. Then next on our agenda is in February is eWorld in Essen. We used to have a booth there. We might go to visit as it's way more an energy event nowadays than an e-mobility event. Then Intersolar in February. We are planning to go there in San Diego. We're not sure. Embedded World. I'm not sure. I should have removed the to be confirmed because I know for sure we go there. We have a talk as well at the event. The Nordic EV Summit, we will have a booth. I will probably do a talk during the Nordic EV Summit. Then for us, I think the biggest event is Power to Drive. And I know a lot of our customers, at least our Pionics customers, will also be at Power to Drive. That's probably the biggest in Europe or at least in Germany for e-mobility. Then the first announced CharIN Testival is in Detroit in May. We are planning to go. If somebody else is going, looking forward to seeing the rest of the community as well there. Then there's also around the same time a open EV charging workshop organized by Linux Foundation. So if you are joining the Testival, please also join the workshop on the last day. Then there's an electric vehicle conference in Stuttgart in May. So May is going to be busy, a lot of events. And then we are even organizing our own event. So 21st and 22nd in Heidelberg in Germany, quite close to our office, we are organizing the EV event. It's a charging station software innovation summit. So we're really focusing on talks that are interesting for people in the EV charging industry that are either software or hardware. The tech people within the industry want to have as much of the tech interesting talks for the tech people in the industry. There's a lot of conferences where it's interesting for more the sales people, but this is really focusing on the tech people. And then it's EVS 38. So the EVS is landing in Europe again this year, June in Gothenburg. There is talk about a OCA Plugfest, maybe even Testival. There is talk about a hackathon. I think the hackathon is now confirmed. So there's also a lot of technical stuff happening at EVS 38. We're definitely going to be there. We are probably taking somebody to the hackathon. If there is a Plugfest and or Testival, we'll probably also join there. So for us, June, super interesting. And then more to come in August, top of my head, there's a hacker camp in the Netherlands where a lot of the guys from Pionix at least will be. I have heard that Edito might join us, maybe ChargeByte, maybe some other people that we know from the industry join us. So there will be quite some EV charging software guys also at the hackathon, at the hacker camp in the Netherlands in August. Busy, especially May is gonna be crazily busy. As I already briefly mentioned, our event that we're organizing, please go to the website. You can, I think, already pre-register if you want to do a talk. Really looking forward to having as many talks as possible. Apply. We really want to have good tech talks. You can do a small workshop. So if you have an interesting topic that you think that is interesting for tech people within the industry, please apply for a talk. Talks are for free, so you don't need to pay for it. We want to make an amazing event. I think we have a maximum of 400 people that are able to come to the event. So it will be a really big event focused on EV tech. Then even later is the LF Energy Summit. So September this year, next year in Aachen will be the LF Energy Summit. So this is the yearly event from the LF Energy organization, 2 days where all the LF Energy projects come together and present the current status, the newest things, all the topics. And there's always space to organize face-to-face meetings. So a bit of a question to the EVerest community. Would there be interest from the community to organize a face-to-face meeting during the LF Energy Summit? The group is not so big this time, so I will also probably put it on the slides next time, because I think we have until March to decide if we want to have a room there organized for a 1 or 2 hour face-to-face meeting with the community. So yeah, if you are able to come over to the LF Energy Summit, let us know so we can figure out if it's interesting enough for us to ask for a special for a room to organize a face-to-face. Then it's we're almost at the holiday season. We've decided not to have any meetings in the next 2 weeks. So this is also the last meeting for the EVerest community. Until January, there's no meetings in your calendar. So if you've missed that these are cancelled, please also update your calendar. And that brings us to the next TSC, which is on the 23rd of January, so the day after the yearly EVerest review. Looking forward to having a lot of people there. If you want to join other calls, especially if you want to join the first call, the public working group is typically the easiest to join. It's bi-weekly on the Tuesday at 4:30 European time. And the other week it's 8:30 European time, so it's a little bit more easy for people from Asia. You can look at the URL down here for the agenda. And yeah, please sign up for the mailing list if you have not yet. And thanks for your attention.